Welcome back to Ask Ra. I'm your host, RaRa the Great. Today we're going to be talking about the ponds. We're coming to you live from our summer camp. The classroom is empty. I'm taking full advantage of it. So today we're going to talk about the ponds. What can the ponds do? Very important pieces. People call them the weak, wimpy little ponds that don't like that. The ponds are actually very valuable. The fact that any pond at any point, if it reaches the other end of the board, can potentially be a queen, that makes the pond very powerful. And they stick together. There's 8 of them for each team. They ride together, they stick together. But before we learn about the ponds, Voice of Ra, can you
You rang RaRa the Great?
yes, can you introduce the ponds for the people?
You got it, RaRa the Great. Here we go, bringing the balance with a powerful female energy. Welcome, Ponderella, Pomegranate, and Ponderosa. Next up, to hypnotize you with the sweet sound of his flute, watch out for the Pond Piper. Next to him, you have the mighty Austin Ponners. He'll razzle you, he'll dazzle you with his charms and good looks. Yeah, baby, yeah. And coming to the stage, give it up for Kanye West, who uses the powers of his rhymes to control his enemy. And be aware of the sharp shooting Peter Pond. He'll take from your king and give to the ponds. Last but certainly not least, the visionary, the confident warrior, the one with unshakable belief in himself, and he has the swag to prove it. Give it up for the one, the only, Pond Dexter. And that'll do it. Back to you, RaRa the Great.
All right, Voice of Ra, thank you so much for that incredible introduction. Now that we know the ponds' names, let's find out what the ponds can and can't do. All right, so first of all, the ponds always line up on ranks number 2. The ponds always line up on ranks number 7 if you're chocolate. Vanilla ponds, rank 2. Chocolate ponds, rank 7. Here are the things that the ponds are able to do. Ponds on their first move, and their first move only, they have the option to move 1 or 2 squares. 1 or 2 squares. 1 or 2 squares on their first move. They can move 1 or 2 squares. 1 or 2 squares. 1 or 2 squares on their first move. They can move 1 or 2 squares. We always use rhymes to help you remember things. So on their first move, they can move 1 or 2 squares. They have that choice. But check it out. These ponds are no longer on their first move. They have left home. So they can no longer move 2 squares. Now they can only move forward 1 square at a time. So this pawn from here can move here. This pawn can move here. He does not have an option to move 2 squares anymore. He does not have an option to move 2 squares anymore. They have an option to move 1 or 2 squares. They have an option to move 1 or 2 squares. They do not. All right, so pawns 1 or 2 squares on the first move, they can move 1 or 2 squares. After that, they move 1 square forward. And the rhythm from here is pawns move forward, attack, diagonal. They move forward, attack, diagonal. So any pawn moves forward, but they don't attack the same way they move. They actually attack diagonal. Before we get to the attack, we're going to talk about 3 things that a pawn can never do. Remember this. 1, pawns never move backwards. They can never move backwards. 2, a pawn can never move to the side. Pawns don't move side to side. So they don't move backwards, they don't move to the side. And 3, a pawn can never attack straight ahead. So this pawn right now cannot move down 2 squares because pawns do not attack straight ahead. This pawn can move here. He can move 1 or 2 squares in his first move. So he moves 1, but right now he will be stuck right there. I cannot capture him. He cannot capture me. We are both actually safe right now. So pawns don't move backwards. They don't attack straight ahead. They can never move side to side. Got that? Now, how do pawns attack? We already said it. Pawns move forward, attack, diagonal. So if we're going to attack diagonal, that means you can attack diagonal 1 square away. Pawns have little bitty arms sticking out of their heads. They cannot karate chop way across the room or across the board. That's a bishop's job to go diagonal across the board. The pawns, however, attack 1 square diagonal. 1 square diagonal. Let's not forget that. So here we go. This is what it looks like when a pawn tries to attack another pawn or any other piece that might come in their way. This pawn can move. Oh, what a nice day. I'm just going to say hi to the vanilla pawn. Bam! Karate chop. Happens all the time in chess. Pawns can attack 1 square diagonal. That's the basics for the pawns. They move 1 or 2 squares. On the first move, they can move 1 or 2 squares. Pawns move forward, they attack diagonal. They can never move backwards. They can never move side to side. And they can never attack straight ahead. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to go over some more in-depth things about the pawn. We're going to learn everything about the pawn. We're going to learn how Pawn Dexter became great.